Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to move on to something that's very, very similar to solving equations by adding and subtracting. We're going to be solving equations by multiplying and dividing. So I hope you're ready to go because I am. It is time for math. Yeehaw! All right, here we go. The very first thing I want you to do is 4 warm-ups. I want you to write an algebraic expression for each word phrase. So please do this right now. All right, here we go. The very first one, decreased by, it says a number x is decreased by 9. So what does that mean when we're talking about decreasing? Oh, well, we're talking about subtracting. So when you do that, you take x minus 9. 5 times the sum of p and 6. The very first, or the key word there is sum. So we need to find the sum first before we multiply. So p and 6 are going to be added together, and we are going to multiply on the outside. 5 times p plus 6. Next, we take 2 plus the product of 8 and n. So we take 2 plus the product is 8 times n. Don't forget that you're multiplying between there. Notice you do not need that multiplication there in between the 8 and the n. That's okay. However, if you did put it in there, that is also fine. Okay, the quotient of 4 and a number c. What does quotient mean? Division. So you're dividing here 4 divided by c, or if you took 4 over c, it is the exact same thing. One or the other works perfectly. All right? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to learn. We're going to be learning about solving equations using multiplication and division. Again, make sure this entire lesson you are showing your work. SYW, don't forget to do that. Show your work all day. All right, here we go. First things first, when you do this problem, or these problems, you have to understand the division property of equality. So I want you to pause right now, and I want you to write this down, and I will explain it afterwards. Pause. All right, so the division property of equality, when you do this problem, remember, again, if I have an equation that is equal to each other, so for instance, if I take 4 is equal to 4, is that true? Yep. Is it an equation? Yep. Okay, so what we are going to be doing here, if I divide both sides by the exact same number, divide by 2, my equation will still be equal. Is 2 still equal to 2? Yeah, every time. Okay, so if you have an equation that is already equal, okay, if you divide both sides by the exact same number, then you get your answer. All right, so think about that a little bit. I want you to write this down right now, and then I'm going to explain the first one, and then I will have you do the next 3. So I'll explain the first one, and then I'll have you do the next 3. So pause now, then I'll explain. All right, so you are solving, again, showing your work here. So remember when we talked about yesterday, when we talked about adding and subtracting equations. Remember, we need inverse operations of what's happening in the problem, inside that problem. So when we look at 6 and x, we want to get x all by itself. Who wants to be lonely again? Okay, lonely. So in order for us to get rid of that 6, what do? We do the inverse operation of what's happening with the 6 and the x. So what's happening between the 6 and the x? Multiplication. So guess what you have to do? Divide. And we divide by 6. The reason why we are dividing by 6 is because what's 6 divided by 6? 1. So we have 1x, which is the exact same thing as x. You take it on the other side, 48 divided by 6. Our answer is 8. That's all the work that you need to show. This right here is all you need to show. All right, all you need to show. I want you to try that exact same thing for 2, 3, and 4. Remember, whatever that digit is, whether it be positive or negative, you need to use that entire digit. So pause now, give these a shot. All right, so negative 9y is equal to 45. Again, when we're looking at this, we need to divide by this negative 9. When you divide by the negative 9, you get y is equal to 45 divided by negative 9, negative 5. Positive divided by a negative is your answer. Remember, positive divided by a negative, is a negative answer. 45 divided by 9 is 5. 9x is equal to 36. Again, dividing by that coefficient. Dividing by 9. So your answer, x is equal to what? 4. Awesome. Next, negative 3y is going to be equal to 36. Divide by a negative 3y. What's the answer? Tell me the answer. Say it aloud. Tell a friend. 36 divided by negative 3 is a negative 12. So again, inverse operations of each other. The inverse operation of this is going to be of multiplication is division. So we're dividing. All right? Sweet. Okay, here we go. It says multiplication property of equality. So pause now, write it, and then I will explain. Oh, I forgot to add this little piece in here. Multiply, you're going to multiply that by 4, which is equal to 6 times 4, and multiply by C, which is B times C. All right, now, looking at this, multiplication of property of equality, exact same thing as division, as addition, as subtraction. If I give you 6 is equal to 6, and I take both sides and multiply them by 2, is it still equal? Is 12 still equal to 12? Yeah, every time. If I give you 12, it's the same thing as 12. Now, different labels mean different things, but 12 is equal to 12 every single time. Yes, yes, yes. La, 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 la. All right, now think about what we did before. We took the inverse operations of the of the different problems. So I believe negative 3y is equal to 36. We took inverse operations. I want to see if you can think of the inverse operations of what's happening. So I want you to try to see if you can solve these by yourself before I even show it. Okay, so pause the video, try these out. All right, so here we go. When we do the inverse operation of each other, remember we have to ask ourselves, what is happening inside the equation? So what's happening? We are taking a divided by 3. Inverse operation of division is what? Multiplication. Multiplication! So we're going to be multiplying by 3. So we get a is equal to, what's 5, negative 5 times 3, negative times a positive, negative 5 times 3, 15. Our answer is negative 15. Okay, on the other side, if you look at this, b over negative 4, what is happening between the b and the negative 4? Division. So what do we do to answer? Multiplication. So we multiply here by what? Negative 4. And that we multiply both sides, and our answer is a positivo 24. Now, the question you may be asking, why are we multiplying by those denominators? Okay, remember when we divided? When we divided that very first one, if you looked at that very first problem, it was 6x equals 48. Okay, we divided by 6 because 6 divided by 6 is 1. Okay, same thing here. If I give you a negative 4 over 1 times b over negative 4, these cross off, and guess what you get as your numerator and denominator? 1. Okay, so those cancel each other out, and we solve with a positive 24. Awesome. Okay, sweet. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a different step here. So if I look at this, this is going to be a 2-step equation. I want to teach you this. There's not quite too much on the homework, but I just want you to know how to do this. Order of operations state, we need to take parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Okay? We know inverse operations of each other. That's how we've been figuring this out. If I were to solve this right now, I would need to take 3 times x plus 2 because multiplication comes before addition and then adding to solve. Now, when we're going backwards, we're trying to get x all by itself. Okay? we have to take this and we have to work backwards. So what operation, going from the bottom of subtraction, addition, division, multiplication, exponents, and parentheses, okay, what is happening first? Well, our addition. So if we went backwards, okay, we would see this as addition would normally happen first. When we're solving equations, we work backwards through order of operations, which means our first stop would be the addition one. Now, we need to get rid of the addition symbol first. That addition of 2, we need to get rid of that first. So we use inverse operation to get rid of it. We subtract by 2, and we're left with 3x is equal to 12. So we went backwards. We got rid of the addition piece first because we're moving backwards in our equation. So because we're moving backwards in our equation, we are moving backwards in the order of operations. Next, we have 3x is equal to 12. We just did a problem like this. When you have a multiplication, we need to divide by 3. And our answer, 12 divided by 3, is 4. Again, inverse operations of each other. All right? I'm going to have you try one all by yourself. So give this next one a shot. Here it is. I want to see if you can do this by yourself. Okay? So pause now, write this down, see if you can solve by showing your work. Showing your work. Everybody, do not just write the answer. Show your work. That's very, very, very key in this. All right. So again, we're working backwards in our equation, which means we're working backwards through the order of operations, which means we need to subtract here. So then we end up with 4y is equal to 24. Now what operation is happening between the 4 and the y? Multiplication. So we need to divide. When we divide, you get y is equal to what? 6. 6. This is a bilingual class. So 6 is your answer. All right. So again, inverse operations of each other is very, very, very important. That's all I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit, or this was a little bit of a review for you as well. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me tomorrow. I will see you later. Bye.